Hey everybody, it's your girl Jazz, and we are back again to discuss Sisters. So today we're going to discuss the penthouse scene, and I've been getting a few requests to discuss this video. Well, not video, but this clip. So we're gonna get into it. We are going to talk about when Karen told Fatima that she was pregnant, and I am going to give, my take and my belief on why I think that she told Fatima that she was pregnant. So this is season 4. I forget what episode this is. I think it's either episode 5, 4 or 5, one of them. But I definitely know it's season 4. And all right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so if you go back before the penthouse scene, there was a scene when Karen was calling Zach, and if you just getting into the show, if you're new here, subscribe, like the button, and subscribe to my channel. But if you are into Sisters, you know season 4 is when Karen had just found out that she was pregnant. Of course, Fatima knows, and of course, Zach knows. At this point, the only people who know that Karen is pregnant at this point, up until this point, this was season 4, up until this point, the only people that know that Karen is pregnant is Pam, Karen, Zach, and Fatima. The girls don't know that she's pregnant yet. She hadn't told them yet. And around this time, the SEC had started coming sniffing at Karen's job and was trying to get in contact with Zach. So Karen was coming trying to see who did this. It was a lady. She was from the SEC. Now, she didn't tell Karen that she was from the SEC, right? So she was, Karen was trying to ask Zach, say, man, who is this? Who is this lady that's come? She keep coming to my job or whatever. Now, Karen used that to try to keep a connection aside from the baby, because at this point, and y'all will see where I'm going, and y'all will see why I'm tying this into the penthouse. Just go with me. Y'all know how I am. Just go with me. Okay, so at this point, the only thing at the end of season 3, the only thing that Zach said to Karen, and y'all let me know if y'all want me to do a video on that. I think I did, but if I didn't, y'all let me know if y'all want me to do a video on that. But at the end of season 3, the last thing that Zach said to Karen is, when you get your affairs in order, you let me know what my role is. Because Zach was under the impression that her and Aaron were in a relationship, because she left Zach because she said that she wanted to see what it is with Aaron and wanted to be in a relationship with Aaron. I'm paraphrasing, but she said, I want to see what that is. I want to see what that is with Aaron. Zach said, all right, cool. And he gave her free reign to do that. She moved on and was on one side of Atlanta. He was on the other side of Atlanta, moving on. He's, started doing chain breakers. He got him a truck. He met Fatima. Him and Fatima, started getting to know each other. They started building or whatever. Now, of course, Karen and Zach had that one stink in the back of the office. But other than that, Zach and Karen were not together. They were not together. Okay? So, let's be very clear about that. They weren't together. They were broken up. They were exes. They were not together. And everybody was aware of that. Anyway, but he said to Karen, he was like, I'm with Fatima. We're not going to be back together. Whatever you decide to do regarding this baby, you and I are not going to be together. So you need to let me know whatever it is that you want me to do, whether it be money, time with the baby. Let me know if the baby is mine. All of that. That's the last thing he said to Karen. before he walked out the office. He basically said, hey, because she thought that her telling him that she was pregnant was going to make them be back together. Okay. Because she thought that it is my thought, and y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, but it's my thought that she thought that telling him that she was pregnant before she even took the pregnancy test, she thought that telling him she was pregnant was gonna make him rush back to her, that was gonna do all this dramatic hugging and stuff, and he was just gonna take her word for it and believe her word, and he wasn't gonna push a pregnancy test. She got her bubble busted when he went and got a pregnancy test. And then I didn't expect to go here, but hey, here we are. He went and got one. Lo and behold, the pregnancy test was positive. Because if you watch that scene, she was more shocked about the pregnancy test being positive than anything. She was like, oh my God, it's positive. What are we going to do? And he was like, oh, that's on you. But whatever you decide to do, we're not going to be together. So fast forward to season 4. We're here now. Okay, we're here now. SEC started sniffing around, trying to see where Zach got the money from, all of this stuff. So they went to the last location that he lived at, which was at Karen's house. She used that. She tried to use that to try to keep a connection to Zach outside of the baby. So she went to him and was like, look, man, this lady coming and I don't know what to tell him. And he was like, oh, that's not a big deal. I'm not doing nothing illegal. So just give her my number and tell her to call me. That busted her bubble because Karen wants to keep some sort of control, some sort of hold, because she feels entitled and feels like she should know, like she's obligated to know. And so fast forward, there was this scene, and this is what I'm leading up to, y'all. So there was this scene where she was like, okay, fine. So you don't want to tell me. She's talking to herself in her office, and she's like, so fine. Okay, Zach, you don't want to tell me who this lady is that's coming to the office. So she calls him. Fatima answers the phone, and Karen is like, who is this? And Fatima goes, the person who answered the phone. And Karen is like, Fatima? And she was like, is this Karen? And she was like, yeah. Where is Zach? And she was like, oh, Zach is not here right now. Is there a message for him? Fatima kept it cute. She kept it very cute, very amicable. And she was like, can you tell him I called? And Fatima was like, yeah, I'll tell him. And Karen was like, you sure he not there? Karen, why is that any of your business? You're not entitled to know if he's there or not. His girlfriend answered the phone, which she can do that because that's his girlfriend. And if he doesn't want to talk, and even if he was there, if he doesn't want to talk at the moment, he does not have to talk to you right now. So anyway, so he was like, and then Karen gonna say, I don't know if I believe you. And so Fatima had to gather herself and was like, well, I don't know how he was with you, but with me, he's not on it often. And I've been seeing a lot of buzz because this clip actually came up on my TikTok, which is what had me review this. And I've been seeing a lot of buzz and was like, Fatima didn't have to be rude to Karen. I didn't really think that Fatima was being rude because Karen actually could have just got off the phone. Karen didn't even say, I don't know if I believe you. Karen could have just said, okay, thank you. Thank you for giving him the message. See you later or something. Or she didn't have to say anything, right? So basically, long story short, they got off the phone. It is my belief, and y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, but it is my belief that because of that conversation, because Karen called Zach's phone and Fatima answered the phone, it is right then and there that Karen decided that she was going to blindside Fatima, have Andy call Fatima over to the penthouse and tell her that she's pregnant in front of all of her friends. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Because if you watch, because it took 2 episodes. When I was watching, it took 2 episodes for the PentHouse discussion to even happen. And when I was watching, I noticed something. Karen called Andy several times and was on some, did you talk to Fatima? Did you talk to Fatima? I really need to talk to her, and I need my girls there when I do it. On some setup type stuff, right? So, and when I was looking, I'm like, she really trying to get Fatima over here. Like she really trying to get Fatima over there to talk to her. And I'm like, well, because my thinking is, you could, if you really wanted to talk to Fatima that bad, you was just on the phone with Fatima when you called Zach. You could have easily said to Fatima, you know what, Fatima, since I got you on the phone, there's something that you and I need to talk about. How about you meet me at Andy's house tonight? It's going to be around 7 o'clock. It's going to be around 7-ish. How about you meet me there tonight? And it's something that I'm so glad I talked to you tonight, girl. How about you meet me there tonight? Bam. Karen was trying to blindside the girl, was trying to be messy. And she wanted her friends there. One go tell her friends what it was about. Because she wanted her friends to be blindly loyal and wanted her friends and thought her friends was going to have her back. And lo and behold, her friends wasn't even into it. Her friends didn't even like it either. Because she told her friends that that she was pregnant. Because like if y'all go back and watch them. Go back and watch those 2 episodes, because matter of fact, I want to say it was like the whole episode because I think the whole episode, it went from night to day. And y'all know how it is in the Tyler Perry world. One episode be day, then the next episode be night. But she kept asking Annie, did you talk to Fatima? Did Fatima say she was coming? Did Fatima say she was coming? Girl, what is so important that you want Fatima to get over here? Like, I need to talk to her, and I need my friends here. I need all of y'all here when I talk to her. And girl, all that just to tell her that you're pregnant. And you need a whole clique. You need a whole clique to tell your ex new woman that you pregnant. Karen, please. And so when she told her friends that she was pregnant first, right? And so Danny, and so then he was, and so when they was like, and she was like, and I'm finna tell Fatima about it. And so Danny was like, well, hold up. Oh, Danny was like, oh, you sneaky. You about to tell her here in front of us. And so Andy was like, yeah, I don't like this. Andy was the first person to be like, yeah, I don't like this. It's giving setup. Danny was like, yeah, it's definitely giving setup. And so, of course, Sabrina was scared because Sabrina ain't gonna fight. Well, at least she ain't gonna fight no girl. And then Danny was like, man, hold on. Did you check her? She strapped, Fatima strapped. They didn't want no fight to break out, especially all the way at the top floor of the penthouse and stuff, right? Fatima was already discerning that something was gonna pop off, because she was already discerning that something was gonna pop off because she don't like Gary. So she thought something she already was thinking that something was gonna be, not on the up and up, because, and she already thought that she had to come ready and dress in all black because of Gary. She was like, all right, well, I'm gonna come ready because I don't like Gary, or just in case some chicks try to jump me, I'm already ready. So she get over there, and Karen was like, I invited you, Fatima. And she was like, you can sit down. And Fatima was like, no, I'm good. I'll stand down. I'm gonna keep my purse, And so Karen was like, I'm pregnant. And let me back up, because Karen was like, no, you can invite her. Let her come up. Let her come up, because she need to know what kind of man that she dealing with anyway. Karen, why is that any of your business? Because here's the thing. And this is what I think. And y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. What I think that Karen was trying to do is, since it was given, since Zach won't leave her, I am going to push her to leave him. And why would you want to do that? If Zach was so horrible to you and put you through all of this stuff, why? Why do you even want that? Why do you even want that? Why do you want him at all? Why do you want him at all? You know, y'all, let's have a real conversation and put your thoughts and stuff in the comments, because it really was given, she really thought, if you go back and watch, previous episodes and stuff, she thought that, she really thought, they find their way back to one another. I really do think that she thought that her and Zach would eventually find their way back to one another. He'd come back to her. You know what I'm saying? Because she tried with Aaron. She tried getting another guy, throwing it in Zach's face. That didn't work. She tried telling him that she was pregnant. That didn't work. So I think she figured, okay, well, fine, since ain't nothing else, since this ain't working, I'm finna tell her I'm pregnant, and I'm finna do it in front of my friends. Okay, so Fatima go, okay, well, congratulations, he already told me. And so everybody else, Danny, Sabrina, and Andy was like, they looking like, oh Lord. Because they're like, surely the Zach that we know and did not tell this woman that Karen is pregnant, not knowing that Zach and Fatima discussed everything. So, and not knowing that Zach and Fatima discussed everything, and Zach not about to have Fatima out here looking stupid. Okay, so Fatima was like, yeah. Right after you told him, he came home and told me. And Danny, oh, well, friend, what you say? What was I supposed to say? And he was like, well, and Danny, and not Daddy, Fatima was like, well, we weren't actually together the last time y'all slept together, so I couldn't really get mad or say anything. I wasn't clear about how I felt, and neither was he. But now that we are clear, he tell me everything. That was egg on Karen's face, so she had to try to bring her down a peg or two. Well, I wouldn't believe that. Do he tell you how much he called me? Karen. He called me almost every day. Karen, please. Karen, baby, don't fall on the sword, honey. Please don't do that. You want to hurt this girl, okay? And it's not working. You done brought this girl over here on false pretenses, and it's not working. You could have just ended the conversation on, well, I just wanted to let you know that I was pregnant. You have a good night. But no, you done went too far. I guess you got to keep it going, huh? So he called me almost every night. Fatima was like, oh, well, I have the password to his phone. I never see your name come up. God, dog. God, dude. Golly. Sometimes when what the devil meant for evil. What the devil meant for evil, God turned around and work it out for you good, don't it? So then Karen had well, maybe he got another phone. He does, and I have that one too. Ooh, in front of your friends. Ain't that something? Ain't that a mess? Ooh, man, say, you need to be careful. Then Karen turned, well, you need to be careful. You just need to be careful. And then Fatima was like, and why exactly are you concerned? Why? What is that concern of yours? And so And so, and Karen was like, "Well, I'm not concerned. I'm just, I just know him. I just know him. I just know him very well." And so, Fatima was like, "Well, thank you so much for your concern because you're clearly concerned, but I'm I'm good. We're fine. I appreciate that. We're good." And so, one thing I also noticed in this scene is that Fatima, and there was some mixed reviews on this, what I'm finna bring up. Fatima actually brought up, well, since you called me over here, she didn't say this, I'm saying it, but this is kind of this is the vibe that I got. Well, since you called me over here to talk about the pregnancy, we need to work on a paternity test. And she did that to let Karen know, you know me, I know you too. We need to work on a paternity test. And she let Karen know, I know some stuff about you too. I know that Zach ain't the only person you done been with. Now she didn't do that to say that she didn't do that to say that Karen was lying about Zach being the father of the baby. But she did do that to let Karen know Zach does tell her everything. And that she does know Zach ain't the only person that you done been out here with. So what's up? You done called me over here in front of your homegirls to try to blindside me. Now, you gonna tell your homegirls? You gonna tell your homegirls that Zach ain't the only person that you done been with too? What's up? And Danny also, another thing that I also appreciated too. Now, of course, people are like, Danny wasn't being a real friend, but that could be looked at two ways. I could see why people would say that, but Danny had to let Fatima know, hey, don't protect this girl's feelings, because we all have been telling Karen that she needs to move on, but we both know that we both know that Zach is crazy about you, and the relationship is gonna work. So don't say stuff to make her feel better. She need to hear the truth, and so I definitely appreciated that. And yeah, Karen definitely made a fool of herself in that moment. I get that Karen was hurt and she called Fatima down there because she was hurt. Now, let me reframe that. I get that Karen was hurt. And because of that hurt, and because she has not dealt with that hurt, that caused her to call the new woman down there to hurt her. She called her down there and wanted to hurt her. And you do that. Sometimes, when you ain't dealt with stuff, and you let it fester, and you let it fester, and you let it fester, hurt people. And that's true. Unhealed hurt people hurt other people. And sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not, but sometimes it is. And I say this all the time, it's easier to dish that hurt out onto other people than to deal with what's internal. It truly is. And Karen has said, the character Karen has said several times, I just want to be mad at Fatima. I'm not really mad at her, but I want to be. I just want to be mad at her. So that's what she's doing. That's exactly what she's doing. And she said it in this scene. She said she apologized to her, and she told her, I wanted you here because I wanted to hurt you. I'm not really mad at you. I don't even know you. I don't know you. I'm just mad because all the stuff that me and him done been through, and now he decides that he want to do good and be with you. And Fatima accepted her apology. And Fatima even let her know, look, we try so hard to be the best version of ourselves for the guy that we love and in a relationship with. And then when it's all after the struggle and when it's all said and done, They take everything that they've done with us and they give it to the next woman. And unfortunately, sometimes it's like that, you know. And Fatima, and I think I've said this on, I don't know if I said this to just my friends. Shout out to Courtney, shout out to Giovanna, and shout out to KD. I love y'all. I don't know if I've just said this to my friends or if I've said this on the video before. If Karen would get out her ego and just actually listen to understand, she could really hear and understand that Fatima is not her enemy. And even now, even now, she have her moments, but especially back then, as back then, when she was like in the thick of that hurt, she wasn't trying to hear nothing nobody had to say, so after that, Fatima was about to leave. Danny asked, Danny wanted her to stay. Andy wanted her to stay. Sabrina was just like, but hey, majority ruled. They asked Karen if she could stay, and Karen was like, sure. Now, I think that may have been a little too much, but yeah. So they stayed, they talked about dudes and, and stuff like that. They looked around the house because Gary had got Andy that penthouse and stuff like that, which I think Andy should have gave that penthouse and stuff back, because, and let me know if y'all want me to do a video about Gary and Andy and this penthouse and all of that stuff, because Andy keeping that penthouse was her actually coming into agreement with Gary and his stuff. She should have gave it back. She should have gave the penthouse back. She should have gave the car back. She should have gave all of that stuff back. But anyway, yeah. So they all talked about their men and and stuff like that. And that was it. That was that scene. But yeah, I really do think that the reason why Karen, aside from her being hurt and stuff, I think that the reason why she called Fatima down there was to try to get Fatima. She didn't know that Zach had already told her. I think that she was trying to get Fatima to leave Zach. She was trying to push Fatima leaving Zach, because Zach wouldn't leave her. So she was trying to push Fatima to leave Zach. And of course, trying to embarrass Fatima, especially in front of her friends. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. And keep the requests for old episode reviews coming, because these are fun. But I love you guys in real life, and enjoy the rest of your day.